and enduring games. So EVE Online, how long is it? Well, there are several ways to measure it. It's been going for 21 years, cleared that milestone in May. It has 1.2 million active characters. 38 million characters have been created over those 21 years. Daily trade on the market system of EVE Online at about 1 million, which actually translates into a database underneath all this system, which transacts 10,000 transactions per second, which used to be a lot when we were starting 20 years ago. Now it's maybe not so much. And 250 million spaceships have been built in EVE Online, and most of them have been destroyed. EVE Online is made in Iceland. I come from Iceland. We're obsessed by how small Iceland is. So putting EVE Online in the sort of two important KPIs of Iceland, how many people and how many sheep. It's a relatively recent development that there are more people in Iceland than sheep. You'll see some of the sheep later. 1 million characters. We're like 3 times bigger than the country we were built in. This is like joining a club with Facebook and Tencent and Google by just making the goal very small. But we made other games than EVE Online. So if I count up all the people that have played EVE games over these 20 years, it's about 60 million people. Here's kind of what it looked like in the beginning. So these are pictures of us when we were making EVE Online prior to release. So the team that made EVE Online had never made a game before. We had actually never seen a game developer from afar. Nobody had made a game in Iceland, and this is early 2000. People were in jet setting around the world, talking in conferences back then. So when you play EVE Online, you kind of see it. EVE Online is not really a proper video game. If you measure it by that standard, it's many other things. It's in totality, it's amazing, but it's obviously somebody's first game. Here is me playing it. This is my daughter. Her name is Eva. We're playing EVE Online, reminding. I'm kind of repaying a spaceship I lost in EVE Online. We did a pandemic reenactment of this. So it's like sort of like how long is it? Like adult persons have come into being for the duration. This is what EVE Online looked in the beginning. This is the first functioning version of EVE Online. This is EVE Online sort of September 2000. We kind of were very proud, at least us nerds on the engineering side, that we've stood up the game. You see there are 2D sprites, there's a chat system, there's persistent universe, it all works end to end. But creative director came to me very angrily and said, Hilmar, it was supposed to be 3D. Okay, so we made it 3D. Here's a recent picture of EVE Online. This soup of spaceships is worth $500,000 apparently. And we have the Guinness World Record in most amount of spaceships fighting each other concurrently in anything ever made. And losses also, we have 2 records for that. So CCP has this bold mission to make virtual worlds more meaningful than real life. It's obviously very provocative. We debate it very much internally. There's a complicated way to explain it. This is that talk. But there's also a simple way to explain it, which is, okay, we're building virtual worlds. What do we want them to be? We want them to be meaningful. Okay, how meaningful do we want them to be? Do we want them to be as meaningful as real life, 70% less meaningful than real life, or just more meaningful than real life? We went for that. Probably will take 100 years to get there, but as core purposes go, you've got to go bold. So more meaningful. Right now, reality is kind of giving up, so yeah, maybe not 100 years. And a vision, kind of, we have this vision that EVE Online and EVE, in a larger sense, should last forever. There are things that people have built, humans have built, which practically last forever. Look at the pyramids, Elvis. Like, there are many things that will last a long time. Maybe the British pound, who knows? But EVE Online should last there. And therein lies this blueprint from longevity. So you have to get a very philosophical to kind of find a path through all this. So here's Immanuel Kant. He wrote this down a few hundred years ago. Rules for happiness. To make happy people, they need something to do, someone to love, and something to hope for. And you can generally trace everything that relates to happiness and meaning and categorize it into these 3 buckets. We're such math scientists in a way that we actually work like this. These are some of our product direction material, just straight from our own PowerPoints of just how we break down Maslow's hierarchy of needs and Immanuel Kant, and we categorize all strategies and product development initiatives into this. So back to this kind of more meaningful than real life. So you could ask this basic question, even if I made the statement, it's kind of giving up. Does real life need improvement? So if you look at the pillars, if there was a design pillars for real life, and they would be Immanuel Kant, something to do, someone to love, and something to hope for, how is reality doing? Well, we can start here. Like someone to love. So love comes in many ways. And I think the beginning, or at least the sort of most scalable concept of love is friendship. So, and if we look at reality, then it has a problem. So friendship is actually dying out in real life. Like the number of self-reported friendships that people have that are meaningful and deep has gone down by a factor of 10 over the past 20 years. It's called the loneliness epidemic. It's the biggest health crisis in the world. More than obesity, drinking, smoking. It's worse than all of that. Having a friend counters all of that. It's the path to longevity and happiness. And shockingly enough, this space game we made 21 years ago seems to be an engine for love. And you're like, no, Hilmar, it's a murder, death, hell simulator. Like we have seen him online, we've read the stories. It's scams, it's Guinness World Record for death and destruction. And sure, like EVE Online does generate a lot of emotion. Here is a word cloud we have kind of sourced. It's actually done pre-AI, but we could probably do it even better with AI now, of like what are sort of some of the words that people describe their experiences in EVE Online. And he would look at this and think, okay, this doesn't look like something that people are talking about the game. How can a game evoke all these emotions? So we went on a long research journey in 2018 to figure out why does this capitalistic murder, death, hell simulator generate love and all these emotions? And we found you can kind of group that into a model we call the EVE effect, is that EVE Online gives you friends and skills. So, and this again is some of our product development material. So EVE helped me to get ahead in my professional life. My best bros helped me when I was down. This is kind of the TLDR of the whole thing. So if we ask EVE players, 73% of them self-report that they have had new friendships as a consequence of playing the game. Here are some of the sound bites of what they're saying. I've been able to use EVE to meet other veterans and really have someone to talk to. It is quite an interesting element. A lot of veterans of militaries around the world play EVE Online a lot. They very explicitly explain to us how it's kind of like going to war. Obviously, I come from Iceland. We have no military. We've never gone to war. I have no idea what they're talking about. So it's very humbling to have people describe a game that it is something on that scale. I'm holding off my wedding until I can fly my court mate. This is like a clan mate in other terms in EVE Online, and his family over. I've been able to pull myself out of a very dark hole because there were people there to help me. So this has even become a meme in the EVE Online user base. So EVE Online is a spaceship game. So the best ship in EVE Online is not the spaceship, it's the friendship. And there are many beautiful memes on Reddit where you can see the best ship is friendship. And in our strive for making this actionable as a game design framework, we found a formula. Apparently there's a formula on how you make a friend. It is proximity, frequency, duration, and intensity. Shockingly, this formula is made by the CIA, who actually makes most of its intelligence through making friends with people and casually kind of dropping hints and getting hints from conversations. And you can kind of trace relationships you have in your life. Maybe you go to a coffee shop every day on your way to work. There's a barista there. Sure, you have proximity, you have frequency, it happens every day, but it doesn't have a lot of duration. It's maybe a 5-minute interaction, and it's not very intense. You don't have to like enter the Thunderdome to get a coffee. Just it's a simple transaction. This can lead to friendship, and the formula states it takes about 4 years. But what Online does beautifully is the intensity part. So all the emotions you saw before, all the murder, death, hellscape, death, and destruction makes the experience very tense. So it accelerates the formation of friendship more so than reality does today. Because in our strive to make reality safe and sheltered and all that, everyone is getting very cuddled. The intensity of life has just gone to a place where the evidence show that we're not making as many friends as we used to. And I'm sure you can look at your friends, and they have usually, the friendship had been forged through some intensity. Maybe you were fighting a bully when you were kids in the playground. Maybe you were playing a game together, and that's how it came together. This also is the reason why EVE Online works. So in the extremely harsh death penalty on EVE Online that makes Elden Ring and Dark Souls looks like kids' games, there is this element. If you are met with a devastating loss in EVE Online, you can literally lose everything, often to another player. If you have a support network to bring you out of that, that creates this moment of feeling that somebody has your back. And we can usually trace the people that have played EVE Online for 21 years. They tell a story of some devastating impact they were met with and how they could rely on their friends to get them out there. Many stories have been written about this, obviously. Here is kind of this element of like making a point of like these are really devastating losses. Of course, the EVE Online currency is not really tradable. So calling it $300,000 is an approximation based on kind of the secondary market. And these are the stories we have. First time I realized this game was for me and I would stick around is that when a group depended on me for an important task. And importance is the flip side of the devastation. So if there is an opportunity for true devastation, then relying on people actually has a meaning. And interestingly, if we look at our stats and we have kind of sneaky way to ask about what your sort of preferences, characteristics are, if we look at the people that claim to be helpers, they would like to help others, they are actually the biggest portion of the EVE player base are players that would like to help each other. You would think the PvP hellscape would be something about competition and combat. Sure, combat is up there, but helpers are the majority of the EVE player base. So it turns out if you make a murder, death, hell simulator like we did, there's just a lot of people that need help. So we have found a way to kind of generate this, and this is kind of where the engagement comes from. So if we look at who are the happiest, it is the people that like to help others. Those are the happiest customers in Online. Again, there's just a lot of people that need help. Like all these people that like to compete and do combat, they need help when it doesn't go so well. And this beautiful community, of course, likes to help beyond the means of EVE Online, because we just don't want to have like reality self-sabotage and win like that. So the community has raised about $1.2 million over these 20 years to help out with mostly natural disasters along the way. They even go beyond that. There's a lot of ways they help each other and help all around the world. This is just, the 1.2 is through a system we have kind of built up. Sometimes the relationship extend The friendship extends into other relationships. It's quite common that people get married from having played EVE Online together. This is me marrying people at FanFest. It was a beautiful moment. As I was marrying them, I was listening to the tattoo needle, the floor below. Everyone's getting an EVE tattoo. It's kind of like the whole thing coming together. It's 10 years ago. On the right, we have a picture of the Space Pope, which says now handles wedding ceremonies. So in the player-created content, players have created a Space Pope, and the Space Pope does officiate marriages at our fun event. So often when people say, like, build the community, and of course, this was largely the business plan for EVE Online, people join for the graphics, they stay for the community, but it wasn't until 2018 that we understood that the community is a web of friendships that really holds the community together. So even if it's true, you should build the community, you should have events, you should have the players participate, it is important to understand the community exists without you, or at least a proper community exists without you. It reinforces itself through the friendships within the community. Okay, so again, sort of doing a performance review on reality. So does reality give you something meaningful to do? Mostly we have this idea of something to do in reality is having a job. And having a job is kind of a relatively new idea. It's like 3,000-4,000 years old. We've been here for 300,000 years. We have had jobs for maybe 4,000 years. And that is also kind of failing. So if we look at like this idea of having a job, it's a $100 trillion economy per year. It's kind of a big deal. There are 5 billion people on the planet that are on working age. There are 3 billion people that would like to work, but only 1.3 billion people have a job. It's actually it's a tiny fraction of mankind on planet Earth. Out of the 8 billion people we have on the planet total, 5 billion, only 1.3 have a job. But only 200 million like what they're doing. So we have, in a way, a deficiency of 4.8 billion jobs. Not everyone gets to make games, come here in Brighton and celebrate how awesome that is, mostly. So again, opportunity to take down reality. EVE Online has often been accused about being more like a job than a game. So let's just lean into that a bit. And of course, jobs in EVE Online are like, you can be a space accountant, you could be a space lawyer, you can be a trucker, you could be a miner. This is a long letter for somebody that built his own business based on everything that he learned in EVE Online. So that gets us to this other part of the fact that not only is the resilience and longevity of EVE Online coming because you make friends inside the game, you also learn skills which you do believe are valuable to you in real life. Here are some of the kind of quotes we have on that front. Eve has given me a paid project manager job, assisted me in a career as a real-life politician. Like, it is a lot about politics, which are a lot about memes on Reddit. And I guess politics in reality are becoming memes on Reddit also. I landed my current job. I've used IT infrastructure of EVE Online and transformed my organization. So there's a lot of like these kind of anecdotes we have from people where they have learned real skills from EVE Online, and it's helped them in their career to a point where some people have started to put EVE Online resumes on their LinkedIn profiles and put it on their resumes. And certainly if they see traction, they bring it up quite a bit. And what you can learn in EVE Online is actually quite deep. Again, because of the amount of emotions that are being gathered, the amount of friendship that are being made and broken also. So you would think, I mean, obviously there are hard skills like programming and Excel sheets and data analysis, but a lot of it is judgment and decision-making, leadership and management. The biggest alliances in EVE Online are like 40,000 people, which are across the globe. Leading a group like that into war, it takes a lot of leadership I mean, what I do, like CCP is a tiny company compared to that, 400 people in 3 offices. It's like I have a tiny job to some of the biggest alliance leaders in EVE Online, and when you talk to them, you feel it. It's like, okay, like I would attend the seminar. Trust and loyalty, curiosity and openness. These are all elements. Of course, when we look at hard skills, then Excel spreadsheets are at the top. EVE Online is a little bit like the world. It runs on Excel, and but also market, economics, leadership, teamwork, marketing. This is kind of in the meme category, and programming. Here's the guy again who built his own company, built kind of a logistics company on Amazon, built it up to $8 million per year portfolio. Every single lesson was from EVE Online. So we get this kind of fan mail almost constantly. So this idea that computer games can help address this gap, again, 5 billion people at working age, 3 billion people would like to have a job, 1.3 have a job, only 2 or 3 million like what they're doing. The delta is 4.8 billion jobs. Here's an excellent fantasy from Gary Lawson. He makes this comic in about 92, and he's fantasizing about 2001, where, no, sort of 2005, sorry. Concerned parents looking at their kid. Maybe in the future this will be a job. This could be me, my mom, working in on me, playing StarCraft 24 hours straight. And it's like, Hilmar, if you don't stop playing these games, you will amount to nothing. And of course, this is not a fantasy. If you look at the Twitch leak, where like top earners on Twitch were kind of leaked, we see already people are paying like serious money just for playing a game and yapping about it on a stream. So this is already happening. Like people that play EVE or any game are frankly making more money than anyone at this conference just doing that. So already there is some portion of players which are already finding a way to just make a job out of playing a game, like Gary Larson was fantasizing about. We see this quite a bit in EVE. Like EVE is a massive ecosystem of third-party websites, conferences, events, weddings, meetups. I mean, it's an ecosystem of people which are doing things more or less as a community service. We don't really have a functioning sort of business model to build around this. We're seeing more of that being built. We saw that Epic's played out $320 million to creators on Unreal Engine for Fortnite, which is like a staggering amount of money when you look at how many ways people are struggling to make games today. Well, certainly there's a way there. We've seen also on Roblox. I'm not going to say these are all like great ways. We're at the very beginning stages of something happening. It's certainly not all perfect. When I look at EVE Online, so people have been playing EVE Online for 21 years in some cases. If I look at the assets that people have accumulated in EVE Online, if I take the secondary gray market after price of those assets, we do not allow real money trading in EVE, but life finds a way, Jeff Goldblum style, so we can't really stop it. It does happen. Then all the assets in EVE Online are $1 billion. And here's the histogram of how it distributes. So the mean is about $1,200 that people have as savings in EVE Online. And I found a shocking stat. Half of Americans have less than 500 in their savings account. So if you're an American person playing EVE Online and you belong to that cohort, you have more savings in EVE Online, the spaceship game, than you have in your savings account. It's a pretty staggering figure. And I mean, if something happens in life, I mean, I'm told the healthcare system in America is not great if you don't have special insurance for it. Are you going to take your savings, which are $500, or the $1,200 from EVE Online? And I've been thinking quite a bit for a long time, okay, who am I to stop that really happening? And of course, EVE Online is built on a certain premise. We can't change that. We won't change that. But we have taken up kind of an idea of we're going to use a blockchain to figure out how to do that. And of course, you will go like, no, there be dragons, Hilmar, don't go there. And yes, I know nobody has shown that you can do it. You can do useful stuff with it. But we've been at it now for almost 3 years to build an ecosystem on top of that. And I think we're pretty close to putting it together because we're seeing this trend emerge over and over. Here's kind of a slightly jazzed up PowerPoint slide I borrowed without asking from some VC. In the next 3 to 5 years, I think we will see more and more of this element of Roblox, Unreal Engine for Fortnite, etc., becoming more and more of this, from Twitch to building games to building an ecosystem. So we have been a part of this. We're like using the blockchain part to build kind of a developer ecosystem where you can sort of mod the server. If you think of like an MMO, usually you're modding the client, you're having like UI wizards for World of Warcraft or something like that. But in this premise we've built, you can actually mod the server, and you can mod the server while people are playing the game, the same game, not like different games, like in Roblox, it's all the same game. So we have figured out a phenomenon we call digital physics. And here watching our first hackathon, we had about 50 people hacking on it for 2 days. They built amazing things. We were just concluding a hackathon where we had 1,600 people for 2 weeks. And we had 10,000 people play at the same time for 6 weeks. And it all kind of worked together. So we, not kind of, it did work. So we are in this sort of grand experiment of like, okay, can we use this to build an ecosystem where players can build the game with us? And not only that, which kind of already happens with Eve, they can build a functioning business model at the same time. And by having a token for the game, it becomes like a national currency for a country. I come from Iceland. Again, Iceland has its own fish money called ISK. 385,000 people use it. EVE Online has ISK, interstellar credits, which are way cooler than Icelandic fish money. More people use that currency. Why is our currency not just listed as the national currency of Iceland? And again, we have a certain premise of EVE Online. We won't change that. But we want to experiment with that. Can we build a virtual nation in this mission of virtual worlds more meaningful than real life? There will be a phase 4 playtest on the 25th of September. So if you want to join, you can type in projectawakening.io or snap a picture of the QR code. So third pillar, something to hope for. How's reality doing on that? Well, I mean, that varies a lot. It's very personal. I don't really have good stats on reality, how much hope is there. But we have over time built many ways of you can play a part in this grander experiment that is EVE Online. So what we have here is the monument. This is on the shores of a harbor in Reykjavik. And we wrote down the names of all the players which played in the first decade. So if you come to Iceland and you played EVE Online and you were active when we did the snapshot, you can find your name on this plaque. We actually just upgraded it to 2 levels. There are no 2 levels because of the 20 years of EVE Online. So this is a part of kind of monument building. I mean, this is now a 2-story pyramid, but like give it some 100 years. Giza, we're going after you. We also had this idea of like inventing democracy. Democracy seems like a good idea. Implementation varies, but maybe we can improve upon that. So in 2008, we reformed actually. We formed this in 2003 first, but we made it democratically elected in 2008. Here's a picture of a CSM meeting. The CSM, the Council of Stellar Management, comes to Iceland twice per year. We present our plans. They interrogate them. You actually see there Omelka Gold, who's the guy there, obviously explaining something to me I'm barely following. Like he has a PhD in AI, The guy sitting next to him has a PhD in how memory is formed in mice. This is the level. And actually, that guy in the next to him, he runs the second largest alliance in Emaline. I don't know how he managed to do his PhD research and run an Emaline alliance, but you can imagine just the conversations around the table. Like we have an extremely hard time keeping up. So, okay, I talked a bit about the blockchain madness over here, but over here on the EVE Online side, which we call New Eden, the world of EVE Online is called New Eden. We're also kind of experimenting with this platform idea, even if we're not changing the premise of the real money trading. So we are now exploring again. This is something we did back in 2013, adding a shooter with EVE Online to merge together two different games that coexist in the same economy. So I'm gonna play you a bit of a kind of a video from EVE, kind of explains this.
Capacitor cores check is okay. Fusion cores are primed for ascent.
Copy that. The team is ready to release the hold in T-minus 2 minutes.
Verification check to proceed with ascent sequence. Platform systems propulsion.
Go.
Guidance.
Go. Tether.
Go.
Environmental.
Go. Maglev track.
Go.
Payload integrity.
Go.
Skyhook systems. Anchors.
Go.
ECS shielding.
Go.
Threshold monitor.
Go. Capture systems.
Go.
Umbilicals.
Go.
Range orbitals ain't clear to proceed.
Go. Transit is green. Skyhook is online.
So what you saw there is the Skyhook. This is a type of space elevator, which we're now challenging EVE players to build around all New Eden. We released this expansion in June. People are now sort of busy assembling the Skyhooks all around New Eden. And the idea is to link together space and surfaces of planets. This is actually something we did do in 2013. In 2013, we released a game called Dust 514 on the PlayStation 3. It went pretty well. We had 8 million people play it. It did struggle to monetize. PlayStation 3 was frankly not really ready for a free-to-play shooter at the time. So we did sunset it. We have since then been exploring the idea quite a bit. We have done many pivots. But we have really sort of congealed around a pretty kick-ass idea, which is called EVE Vanguard. So EVE Vanguard is an MMO FPS. So when you combine the meta of EVE Online together with a shooter on the ground, linked together with a Skyhook that joins up the economies. And of course, like here are kind of the big game pillars. It's a human perspective on New Eden at a sort of a monumental scale, Adapter Ascent, Lethal and Ruthless. You make games, you're familiar with these kind of pillars. But I have here a world first, which is a bit of a kind of a lore/explainer video on what it's about. So,
as a Vanguard mercenary, you are neither servant nor slave. You do not owe allegiance to any empire or faction. Hence, you are not accepted by the traditional powers of New Eden. Instead, you find sanctuary in the pirate haven of Zarzak, where you're guaranteed a basic clone and weapon, as well as opportunities to forge your own path. Vanguard operates with unparalleled freedom, able to take on any contract, fight with any group, and claim your stake, though your mind remains tethered to the deathless infomorph network in Zarzak. Your body is composed of biohybrids and nanites, micro-robots able to rearrange to react to your surroundings. The assembly of these are controlled by a blueprint stored in your infomorph, a conscious-like data store that can transfer faster than light through the galaxy. The deployment of Vanguard onto planets is a multifaceted operation that extends beyond mere combat. It encompasses resource acquisition, strategic dominance, intelligence gathering for yourself or the highest bidder. Each mission reinforces your role as a versatile and indispensable force in the intricate tapestry of New Eden, operating at the very edge of the living, and continuously pushing the boundaries of human and technological potential. Missions can last anywhere from minutes to days, so you better set up camp in the war barge sitting in low orbit above the planet's surface, hidden from the nearby skyhook. The war barge stores you unused clones and equipment to conquer the surface. The planets you deploy on are as varied as they are many. Soon you realize that using the environment gives an advantage, so better equip and dress according to the forecast. As you scour the surfaces of planets, you salvage blueprint fragments. As you gather more intel, you can start to manipulate your blueprint to sculpt yourself, weapon, and other equipment to optimize your chances of success. Even if your infomorph can clone jump between ends of the galaxy, all physical matter will need to be hauled across space. But if your body is compromised, the fragile connection between the infomorph, nanite, and biohybrid dissolves, evaporating your mercenary clone without a trace. Even if this single loss stings, your contractual objective has been met with a significant reward.
So here we are kind of taking our second stop at this idea of like your next shot in a first-person shooter truly could topple an empire. So if you think of like when you've done a first-person shooter today, there's a bit of a deja vu. I mean, it's maybe climbing a ladder, it's maybe getting some loot. But this idea that a shooter can really have an impact on something that persists forever, we're kind of linking up this idea of like, okay, if you really make that shot, 40,000 people that have an empire right now could crumble to dust. We are kind of implementing this sort of ultimate sci-fi experience, which I think we all want to experience. And very much, this is kind of our meme when we're making this: as it is above, so it is below. So all the feelings and friendship and madness from EVE Online reimagined as a shooter. So we're just coming out of an extremely cool event called Solstice. This was a 10-day test event we ran at the end of June. It's kind of a friends and family, like when our friends and family are the extended EVE player network. Next event will be in November. So if you have a Omega subscription in EVE Online, you can try it out. It's definitely cool. Should we try it out?
¿Esto? ¿No es esto?
Sort of transcend language.
Aquí, deposit. Aquí, Isma.
Dale.
Yo no puedo. Así puedo. Vamos.
Vale,
¡Vamos! Let's go!
I don't know what he's saying, but Emmanuel Kant would approve. Oh, sorry, I was going to play this one.
Oh my god. 2 punches is what it takes. 2 punches is what it takes. Oh, Zakara, I'm so sorry. I just punched you to death.